Mr. Beast is one of the biggest YouTube creators in the world. And that's great news for YouTube. But if you're on another platform that really wants to get into the video game, wouldn't it be great if you had him on your side? Well, Elon Musk appears to be making big moves to try to win Mr. Beast over and establish Twitter as the place to go to for video. And those big moves seem to be utterly underhanded and deceptive. So Mr. Beast apparently decided to test out posting one of his videos on Twitter and then seeing how many views it would get and how much money he would get. And you can see the post where he talks about doing that here. He's uploading it onto the site to see. And Elon Musk is super excited about it. It says, first Mr. Beast video posted directly on X. And many people noticed that video really is popping around on Twitter. Over and over and over again, people were having it show up on their feed like it was being pushed on them, because apparently that's what was happening. It was being manipulated behind the scenes effectively as an ad, but with none of the notifications or listings that would normally go along with it being an ad. It was being pushed into people's feed. The numbers were being utterly juiced to convince everyone, and honestly, to manipulate Mr. Beast into thinking that this is how it would work if he were to publish his videos on the platform. And look, I don't know if he's convinced by this. I'm assuming he is seeing all of this coverage of how underhanded what Elon Musk is doing is. But he did post a comment not that long after posting that initial tweet with the video saying 100 million views, dang, LOL. Well, yes, dang. LOL, except those views aren't real views in the first place. Literally, if it shows up on your feed, it counts as a view, even if you haven't watched a single second of it. And that's not the organic reach that it would have had anyway, despite the fact that Mr. Beast has lots of Twitter followers, by the way, because it is being pushed into people's face to delude everyone into thinking that that's how video works on Twitter. Now, Francesca, it's Elon Musk's platform. He can do whatever he wants. He can lie to everyone about how things work there. But what do you think about this as a strategy? Do you see it being successful?
What I think is so ironic about this is that he has spent so much time alienating big name creators like Mr. Beast or any celebrities from being on Twitter because they see the rampant amount of psycho Nazi memes. Straight up the other day, I was looking at, like my husband was being trolled because he gets trolled by Nazis a lot. And they're like just openly memeing about Adolf Hitler. And you're like, yeah, this is why no one wants to be on your effing platform, including some of these biggest names. So then to pour money into someone, and this is so sad because he could get random nobodies, as he's done with the blue checkmark scheme now, to be like, oh, I wanna publish my video. That'd be the way to do it. Get a bunch of people who aren't famous, not Mr. Beast, to realize that they wanna start doing video if you're insistent on making this a video platform. But he doesn't. He's spending all this money that he clearly doesn't have to get a guy who clearly doesn't need this platform to make his money. It is financially a stupid move. It is marketing wise a stupid move. I'm like, I truly don't understand how people can think, as you always say, that he is a good businessman.
I don't understand it. And by the way, we have the update, which thank you, producer Mike, for producing that, or for producing that in the normal sense of the word that. We'll get to that in one sec. But I also want to be clear about what I have a problem with about this. It is not that the platform is advantaging certain types of content or whatever. Platforms do that all the time. Like there was a period where YouTube was really pushing out, if you did live video, they would like shove it in your face or whatever.
Yeah.
See, but that's like a broad thing that affects all sorts of people, that shows like a priority that the platform has. The thing that bothers me about this is literally Elon Musk saying, I want this one guy, so I'm going to lie to everyone about how the platform works. It is so personal and so petty and so needy that I hate it. The fact that they set up this thing where your tweets earn you ad revenue or whatever, that by itself is not a problem. The fact that he has made it so that the money just goes to people who make memes he likes or whatever, that is petty and personal and dishonest. That's what I have a problem with. It's that he's doing all of the things that other platforms do, but he's doing it solely based on his own temporary like thing that he's into. And that is, I think, obviously worse than how these platforms normally work, which is bad enough in the first place. Now that said, MrBeast posted this video to find out if it would be worth his financial while to do so. So off of these juiced numbers, he apparently announced that he has made $250,000 on the video, which probably sounds like a lot of money. But first of all, he says that it costs millions of dollars to make these videos, so that's probably not gonna be enough. But more importantly, he says in his announcement, quote, "But it's a bit of a facade. Advertisers saw the attention it was getting, by the way, because it was being pushed out as an unlabeled ad, to be clear, and bought ads on my video, I think, and thus my revenue per view is probably higher than what you'd expect." So that is him, I think, using critical thinking to figure out how it might have been manipulated after being posted. But let's also be clear. If Elon Musk is willing to push this out as an ad and hide the fact that that's what he's doing, do you think that he's not willing to mess with the CPMs? Like the actual dollars per thousand views?
Of course.
He's trying to snare MrBeast. You shouldn't trust anything about any of this. Remember Tucker Carlson's views he was getting on his videos? It meant nothing. And I'm not telling you that. Tucker Carlson stopped doing it because it meant nothing. Despite the fact that it would say he got 40 million views, it wasn't real, so Tucker Carlson left the platform. This is just as fake. And I imagine that MrBeast and his team are savvy enough to see through that. Anyway, final comment.
Twitter used to be good. It used to be pretty good. He didn't need to mess it up. We could just Control Alt Delete the whole thing.
Yeah, and look, someday he's gonna have to pull out of this. I mean, I will give Elon Musk credit for this. Normally, he loses interest in things faster than he's lost interest in Twitter. He's way more interested in Twitter than making spaceships or electric cars or anything like that. Let's be very clear about that. But eventually he's gonna move on. They're gonna sell this because it's losing so much money. And hopefully they can just roll it back to like 3 years ago because it at least served a purpose. It wasn't perfect, it never was, but it served a purpose.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.